gonna start recording. And hello, Osama. I just read your message. Great to see you again. So, we're gonna introduce today Gannet's Situation Hub, and well, first of all, we need to briefly define what the Situation Hub is. So, Situation Hub is powered by Gannet. We're going to explain now what Gannet is. It's one of our tools too, and it's a digital public good that it's designed to provide, let's say, semi or mostly automated analysis in humanitarian crisis situation, and also to provide real-time data. The idea is, basically to reduce the amount of time and resources spent on analysis and data collection whenever there is a crisis, in which timeliness is key. It's not only something that we do because of for the sake of efficiency, but also because of the moral duty that we have as analysts when it comes to a crisis situation. What's the idea or the ideas behind Gannet's Situation Hub? Well, to be faster and to inform decision making. At the end, we do not want to be just analysts working in our silo or in our information management ecosystem or world, in which the products that we create just useful for our colleagues. We want to inform decisions. We want to be efficient when it comes to operations. We want to help those working on the field or responding to crisis to have actionable data. We want also to ensure that that collaboration happens within our teams. And the idea too, and this is something we can discuss later on when we get into the question and questions and answers. The idea is to be able to escalate this Situation Hub to any other context. That's why we've selected a specific analysis framework that could be considered as generic. And the idea is that if there is any crisis upcoming, we can just replicate and create the same tool for that specific crisis. Of course, we're trying to scale up the portal as we speak, but it's the rationale behind it. Some of the impacts of Gannet or the Situation Hub, when you need to compare it to traditional analysis. And just as a clarification, in case some of you do not know Darfield Space, Darfield Space is an organization that does mainly three things, or we have three main pillars. We create tech or IT solutions. We work with AI and NLP, artificial intelligence, natural language processing. Those words are you see that often nowadays. And we do analytics, humanitarian analytics. Since a couple of years back, we decided that we wanted to differentiate ourselves from other organizations by actually merging these three pillars. So now we try to integrate those AI or NLP solutions into our analytics and vice versa. What did we measure so far? Well, that we can reduce by almost 90% the time we spend on data collection and preparing data. So we can actually spend the time on using our brains as analysts, and also the time that we spend on analysis is reduced significantly. We need to work on quality control, on random checks of the information and so, but we realize that we can focus more and more on controlling, verifying, and supervising the analytical outputs of Gannet. But now, how it works? How does Gannet work? Well, Gannet is we can call it an initiative now, and it's right now it can be identified by its two main products. One of them is the virtual assistant. Gannet's virtual assistant was the first of the two that we have with us today, and the idea is to have a humanitarian chatbot, a humanitarian knowledge database that we could, as humanitarian, trust. We presented it last year in May during HMPW 2024, and since then we've been using it. However, we realized that yes, it is extremely useful for those people who want to carry out analysis and want to do the analysis themselves, but we realized that we were not paying attention to those people that want to consume analysis but perhaps do not want to engage into this process. So we said, why not provide something that gives the user the analysis in an automated way, or in a semi-automated way? What if we are able to produce very granular and comprehensive analysis much more often than we used to do? So that's when SituationHub was first conceived. If you have questions on AI, and please, I encourage you to ask later anything about this. We have our team experts here today. So if there are any questions regarding, well, the functioning of our models, how we work on bias, or how our data is private, please do ask at the end. I know it's a common question, and whenever we work in sensitive environments, as we do humanitarians, it is a reasonable question to be made. Is my data safe? Is my data how we keep our data trustworthy in a way? I'm not going to go in depth into it, but the way our SituationHub works is, well, basically we can filter the data by country or date or both, and then we select the type of data that we are that will get into the SituationHub. So the system will process it, and then we'll get two different outputs for the SituationHub. One of them is the automated situation analysis, and I said it's automated up to a point. We have still a team of analysts that checks the information and make sure that the information is accurate. And then there is another part of the information that goes to what we call the media monitor, on which the user can consume directly the data and not the data processed through an automated report. So you can access those media articles directly by yourself. As I said, we are keeping the human in the loop. So our team of analysts is still engaged from the very early stage of the SituationHub, in which we need to create a framework. In this case, we've created, as I said, a generic or a multi-sectoral framework that somehow hosts most of the information that can be relevant for a crisis. Of course, it will not match 100% the expectations of every organization, but it's good enough for most of them. So our experience building the deep generic framework gave us this knowledge, or like we were able to create this framework that we believe meets most of those requirements. Anyway, this is a work in the making, so please do feel free to suggest anything that you feel you might be missing. Later on, we're gonna visit the site and we're gonna see how it works, and of course we'll share our details and we'll share all materials with you. Our idea behind the SituationHub, and this is a work in progress, is that the quality of the analysis improves. It never stops improving. So we can now say that 6 months ago, when we started with the SituationHub, the analysis was mostly descriptive. So we could not go further than that. We're now working, and we're in the middle of a 6 month new project, in which one of the main purposes of it is to make a good analyst out of SituationHub. We don't want anymore to have just an information portal on which you find some useful information on a crisis, but we do want it to be a good analyst. For that, we combine AI, and we combine our team that traditionally has been carrying out that analysis manually with traditional and rigorous methods. So the idea is to go towards, well, explanatory, interpretative, prescriptive analysis, forecasting, etc. We do perform quality control as analysts, so we do need to check whether translations are correct. We do need to check whether the information is accurate or not, the analysis is correct. And we verify, and it's a peer-to-peer process. We want to include also some sort of interaction with users. So we have a way of verifying information also with external users and not only members of our team. And the idea is that the system evolves. We do have three main features right now that we'll show now, but the idea is that the system evolves and so the team evolves with it. So the analysis team will always be part of this development of the tool. So it's not just a tech solution, but a tech and analysis solution. Why it's beneficial? Well, I do believe that we all understand that it's still needed, that the analytical depth of outputs is improved when humans are around. It allows for that verification, rigor, and well, more accuracy. We have deployed two situation hubs so far in Lebanon and Sudan. The first one was Sudan, that we started in summer 2024, and then we've kept it, we've maintained it after well, its lifespan within the project funded by H2H is getting to an end soon, but we'll maintain it because we do believe that now that the system is in place, we're going to make the effort of keeping it alive, because we understand that the current funding context requires for this type of information portals to be live. Then we also created the Lebanon Situation Hub. It was in a partnership with Save the Children that then led into another H2H project, and this one is mostly focused on improving those analytical outputs and making the situation analysis, making Situation Hub a good enough analyst. What are the main features of the Situation Hub so far? We're going to explain what it consists on right now and what we aim to achieve in the short, medium to long term. So first of all, it has a crisis overview dashboard, which is more linked to quantitative data, and that's something I want to clarify. We as DFS have been mostly focused on qualitative data analysis, but also on NLP solutions related to qualitative data. So this crisis overview dashboard contains more quantitative insights. We do not create the data ourselves. We also want to avoid the duplication of efforts. So what we do is, hey, let's take the data from those who do it really well. Let's use their APIs and bring what humanitarians consider to be the most relevant data. Again, totally open to increase the range of data sets that we include here. We have the very basics of any crisis, so we can make sure that we can replicate the Situation Hub anywhere. That's one of the main purposes of it. Like it is efficient by nature, or the whole point of Situation Hub is to be efficient, and for it to be efficient, it needs to be scalable and replicable. So that's why you're gonna see the most significant quantitative indicators of a crisis. You might not see very specific or country specific data sets that might be absolutely great for a certain operation but could not be replicable. Okay, anyway, as I said, we're open to discussions, and I believe that this crisis overview dashboard will evolve significantly with time. Then we have another feature, that is the real-time media monitoring. Well, the idea is to consume the data directly. We all know that, well, for example, Relief Web is basically our main source of information for us humanitarian analysts, but we know that things take time to be in Relief Web. And I don't remember who told me this sometime before, but they said, like, if it's in Relief Web, it's too late for us. And I do believe that there is not one type of humanitarian analyst for the same reason that there are two crises will never be the same, if I may say so. So basically, on the media monitoring feature, we can access in a map or a feed. We can access the most up-to-date news. We update this 3 times every day, and the media articles are not only shown on screen, but also we can filter them by, well, by themes or by topics, or and also by geographical location, so we can consume the data directly. And then we have the third feature, that is the one that, well, it's more significant in terms of content and relevance. That is the automated situation analysis. And again, automated, but with the human in the loop, as we mentioned before. Basically, what this automated situation analysis allows is that we will produce weekly a multi-sectoral in-depth analysis of a full country that in the past used to take us a full month. Also, the amount of time or money or resources, and when I talk about time and resources, we all know we all indirectly talk about funding and about, yeah, like dedicating resources to what really means, right? So the amount of time that our analysis team spends on publishing these reports decreases significantly, like by more than 60%. So that allows for a more frequent, same depth, or we aim to have the same depth of analysis, same granularity, and with at a very low cost in terms of resources or time. Okay, now I'm talking indistinctly about those two. Now we're gonna get into the platform. I don't know if there are any questions so far that you feel you need them to be replied before going into the demo. Otherwise, we're gonna move into the platform and we're gonna see how it works. I'm gonna show you before the Gannet virtual assistant, or the Gannet main page, so you see what's the core or the origin of these two products. And well, in Gannet we can find the virtual assistant, and we can find the SituationHub. The virtual assistant, you can have a look in here, and then you can sign in. It's free, with certain limits of prompts and usage, as many other services, but you can sign in and use it for free. If we're gonna click in here, we are gonna see this screen on which, well, we have the virtual assistant in here, on which we can filter and say, okay, I'm gonna ask for, let's say, Democratic Republic of Congo, and we want information just from media or from all types of sources, or just Relief Web. We can choose a date interval, so the system will reject any data that is not relevant for us, and then we're gonna prompt it. Okay, this is not SituationHub, but this is the technology behind it, and the initial step. So we would just click in here, and then we would need to prompt. I've prepared like a long prompt here of an analyst that wants a in-depth situation report on DRC, to keep humanitarian principles, to provide with forecasts, scenarios, etc., provide assumptions, and yeah, it will take a few seconds, but I already prepared this for you. So basically, as you see, we have citations directly in text, so that allows you as an analyst to check and see whether the data is correct or not. And as you see, the citation is linked to very specific pieces of data, both in origin and destination. So it's easy to see what's behind, right? We have, well, basically like a multi-sectoral report in here, and we even have a risk analysis with scenarios and with the assumptions used for those scenarios. And this is something that we want to highlight, and it's a conversation we've had in the future, in the past. So for a long time, we tried to make everything extremely perfect and ready for the user. We always wanted everything to be 100% reliable, and there is no such thing as a 100% reliable source. And after engaging in a lot of conversation and feedback workshops, and so we realized that analysts told us, hey, just be transparent on what sources you're using, be transparent on what assumptions you're making, be transparent on your information gaps, and then I as an analyst will make the decision. Don't try to make the decision for me. And we kind of started thinking about this, and it is true. So as long as we are, again, for example, like transparent on what are we assuming, or what data we are lacking to take this decision, or to lead to these conclusions, it should be okay. In any case, you have plenty of access to, well, to all those sources, bibliography, etc. This is, as we said, Gannet virtual systems, the virtual system in which we interact with. However, some people do not want to interact with the bot, let's say. So that's why we use the technology and the knowledge database of Gannet, and this is what's going to link us to the Situation Hub. So one of the main assets or its most valuable feature or thing in Gannet is its data knowledge, it's the knowledge database. So daily, well, as I said, 3 times a day, the platform retrieves data from the most relevant and reliable humanitarian development sites. Of course, the list is not over and it's open to further suggestions. But the idea is that we have already a curated data set that we can use every day. And we said, okay, let's use this into the Situation Hub. So now we're going to move into the Situation Hub. We can access it from here. So if we click here, we have the Situation Hub, Sudan and Lebanon crisis. Let's have a look at the Sudan one. As we saw, we have the crisis overview with a very brief narrative. Yeah, main fatalities. Again, we do not create the figures, we retrieve them from reliable sources. So it's through APIs that we have the data in here, who's better than Aglet to bring us some data on for example, on political violence, IPC, food security, etc. Right? And then we have some data on funding coverage, and a timeline of events on which we have the main events of the current crisis that are updated monthly. This is as we said, the crisis overview. This one is open to further quantitative data, and it's the one that has brings more external data in here. Then we have the situational analysis, as we mentioned before. Here, what we have is, well, we have operational environment and sectoral analysis, and then for each of these families of data, we have several sections. So you can go to economy, and we can choose the week that we're gonna analyze. We have weeks and months analyzed here, and then for each of those, we have current economic situation, impact of the conflict on the economy, what's the situation of employment, etc. If we go to, let's say, for example, conflict, we do have here, stakeholders or overviews. We have anything that has to do with outlooks for the conflict, etc. We have data on displacement, access, etc. As you see, it's quite humanitarian focused. This does not mean that we could not create a situation hub with a more focus on development. It's just like it was born as a humanitarian portal, but for everyone to be a bit open-minded in the sense that it is as flexible as we can turn any analytical framework into a set of prompts. So that's what our analysis team of analysts does with you. So you come to us with an idea for your analysis, and then we can turn that idea into a framework. It could be Situation Hub, it could be something similar, but just in case some of you come from, let's say, the peace building sector or development or climate. So, well, and then here we have the sectoral analysis, and again, it's a very granular analysis done. It is true at a national level. We haven't got into sub-national analysis in a formal way yet, but you see how it works. So if you're a WASH officer and you want to see the most up-to-date data on Sudan on WASH for this week, you just need to come here, and then you'll get your data and the sources used. This system of sources for the Sit Hub is also on a constant process of improvement, so you might experience and see some changes next time you log in. And then to finalize and to stick to the half an hour that we planned for this first part of the session, we have the media monitor. So we got it in here, and as I said, we have in this case a map of Sudan, and we have many data points, and when we can either explore by zooming in into our map. So we go to this locality, Tekarugli, and then we'll see all the articles that are relevant for this locality. But we can also filter as much as we want. So we can say, okay, I want all the information on education or WASH, or I want the information to be for Khartoum. So as you see, we have several ways of filtering the data. And then we got here the articles that in here you're gonna see them in English, but the original articles might be in Arabic, for example. So you need to understand that even though right now what you see on Situation Hub, the output is in English. It's something we're working on. We're gonna have it multilingual soon, but the ingestion happened in many different languages. So I'm not sure about these ones that are displayed here, but when you click on some of these articles, sometimes you're gonna find articles in Arabic. That's again, and as we said before, is part of our process of quality control and human in the loop, that we do check translations. We see they are true or not. So this is our media monitor. Again, it is a feature that is in a constant process of improvement, and very soon we'll incorporate to, for example, social media data. We do not have it in what we call production, that is available for everyone, because we all understand what are the limitations and the bias and the risks of social media monitoring. But soon we'll give updates, and well, technically speaking, there are no limitations. We're now working on the best way of showing that data. Again, maybe some people who are working on HNRP or on very detailed or long-term analysis pieces will not pay attention to social media, but for some people that fresh data is extremely relevant. And then again, it's up to them to decide whether, like the data is true or not. In any case, we plan to have several systems of data verification and curation to make sure that all the data that we display here, it's as true as it can be. So this is basically the summary of the Situation Hub. I'm going to get back to the presentation and just finish the presentation, and then we'll open to question and answers with you. I've explained, as I mentioned, the current features, but we are working on several more features. So I do believe there is much more potential on this than what we currently have. As I said, we're working on social media monitoring that soon will provide updates and include those into all our situation hubs. We do believe that anticipatory action and proactiveness and not being that reactive to crisis is key, and especially in a context as the one we're experiencing right now. Anticipating to disasters is key for a better response and for better monitoring outcomes. We are also working on the ingestion of quantitative data, the interaction with our reports. So sometimes the piece that you see on the Situation Hub might not be enough for you as an analyst, and you want to know more, and you say, hey, yes, okay, I like your paragraph summarizing 10,000 words into 150, but what if I ask you where does it come from? What if I ask you if you can disaggregate it more granularly? So we're working on that interaction with Situation Hub. And our idea is to incorporate the virtual assistant into the Situation Hub, so you can talk to it and make your customized analysis in a way. We are going to include soon the multilingual functionality. As I said, inputs are right now multilingual, but the outputs, as you saw, are not. In the short term, we'll have for sure Spanish and French, and we're working obviously to have those other languages. Well, first of all, for example, the Arabic, but also any other local languages. So we try to make analysis and data more accessible, and that also means to localize the consumption of our products, and like translation and language localization is a priority for us, and also to be able to export the content of the Situation Hub. So we are working on that. How we do sustain a Situation Hub? Well, here is where resources go whenever we create a new Situation Hub, and then Well, basically, it's yeah. There's a part on tech and a part on on improving the UI UX and the user experience, and have some sort of desk and so. And then the analyzing the loop. As we said, we're reducing almost by 80%. I would say the amount of time that our analysts spend on analysis, but we also improve the tool. So that's to give you an idea of what we do with that. Then I'm going to show you three ways of funding Situation Hub, from most traditional to least. The first of them is through grants. We do believe that Situation Hub should be a public service for any crisis worldwide. So we are actively working on ensuring the scale up of Situation Hub, not to have it in 1, 2, or 3 countries that actively decide to do it, but actually to make it available for any crisis, and especially those crises that are considered forgotten. We do believe that SituationHub is key and should be deployed there. So this is one way of doing it. So scaling up the whole Situation Hub together. Well, with the current funding scenario, we know this is more challenging than has ever been, but also it's the time to be creative and to be efficient, and we do believe that we are working on that. The second one is the sponsorship model. We already rolled it out before, and basically is what we do have a roadmap for Situation Hub, and we want organizations to help us with that. We will deploy the Situation Hub on a country that is relevant for our sponsors, but we still keep our, well, as I said, our roadmap. The idea is that, well, having a sponsor or a partner, it's good for both sides. We get their feedback, they can influence somehow how we develop the tool, but we keep working on those features. And also the idea is that if we somehow get to create, for example, a new feature, maybe funded through a third party, those partner or sponsors would see their Situation Hubs or the countries that we cover with Situation Hub also upgraded and the features enhanced. So it's not only a one-time thing, but something we want to extend over time. And then we have a third way that, yeah, it's a contingency, I would say, a measure that we decided in the last few weeks, that we understand how challenging is the funding scenario or context as of today, and we understand that, yeah, even though the amount of resources spent on creating such a platform and providing this type of analysis is ridiculous if compared with traditional analysis, we still understand that it could be problematic for many organizations, not for not having liquidity, but also for the uncertainty of what's going to be next. But we do believe that it is useful for many IM and officers, and for many organizations in these countries that require access to data and to professional analysis at a low cost. So we are also now open to, yeah, like let's discuss ways of pool funding. Like the strength of one might not always be enough, and the power of, or the funding power of one might not be enough to fund a full Situation Hub. But get in contact with us in case you have any interest on collaborating with this, so we can organize somehow some pooled funding with several partners of a certain country or context, or certain types of donors, so we can work on this collective funding pool to be able to deliver life-saving information in during crises that do not stop despite the funding restriction. What's next? And I'm gonna finish the presentation now, and please let's open for questions. What's next? Well, first of all, we want to announce that we're gonna launch a new Situation Hub. We're gonna do it pro bono. We're not gonna charge anything for it. We do understand that in times of crisis like we're living, yeah, we cannot shorten our service. We're making here like some sort of a commitment, and we're spending and investing our time and efforts to launch the Situation Hub in another countries. We know, I mean, Myanmar, we tried actually to launch a Situation Hub in Myanmar a few months back. We could not find the funding for that, but then we launched a poll, and we've been in contact with partners recently, and it seems like a crisis that it has components of our current crisis somehow, but it's also acute. It combines, yeah, well, conflict and displacement, climate issues. So we do believe it's a complex crisis, and yeah, we are gonna launch it and announce it from next week. So you should expect a portal on Myanmar soon to be live. Please do share with colleagues and get in contact with us in case you have any inputs or anything that might be useful for us to consider when creating it. And it's going to be soon to the multilingual functionality. We do want to have at least, yeah, Spanish and French soon available, but also we want other languages to be well, Situation Hub to be available in other languages. And we are working on the redesign of Situation Hub. So please do not be surprised if soon you get to see the new user interface. So that will be rolled out in the upcoming weeks. So you're going to see some improvements. Well, definitely you'll see some improvements on the interface, and you'll keep seeing how the system and the platform improves. Now I can say, yeah, like that the presentation or the demo is done, and I encourage any of you to please share any concerns, questions you might have. There are no silly questions, and I, I do really mean it. Like we can reply questions from the very basics of, hey, where does your information comes from, like, or from the most to the most technical ones, for which I have my esteemed colleague Nicolo that will for sure be able to reply. But please do share any of your thoughts, concerns, and let's see. And I hope we can reply to those. So I'm gonna be over for now. I'm gonna read the chat. I don't know if there are any questions for me on the chat. I think the conversation is getting technical there, but if I am missing any questions, please do share.
I already, hi everyone, I'm Nicolo. Pepe, maybe I will answer to a couple of questions. I already, thanks first of all for the question. And Sebastian, to your question, Maria. First of all, thanks again for the question. So the experts are involved in each step of the process, let's say, from the framework definition, so and the corresponding prompts to the final weekly analysis validation. Experts are also involved in the filtering of the sources that you can see in the media monitoring part, that are then the sources that are used as data source as for the analysis as well, in order to try to have the highest quality and unbiased data source possible. So let's say that experts are involved in all the steps of the analysis creation. The Gannet virtual assistant instead is a more, let's say, free, let's say, open tool in that sense, even if there is an initial process of sources selection in order to have trusted sources and so on. Then the answer is an AI-based one based on the sources present in the system, but it's not then validated by a user because it's a real-time tool in this sense. So yeah, I hope that I answered to your question.
Yes, thank you.
We have another question, and I think I might be able to reply partially to it, okay, and then you complement Nico for sure. So it is a question regarding the like the large amount of sources that you see on the compilation, weekly compilation on the Situation Hub. So yeah, right now, and as I said, remember I said like we're working on the improvement of the citation style for the Situation Hub. So yeah, right now, because it compiles a lot of sources, yeah, you are not able to see specifically where it comes from. That's why we said that we want to integrate the virtual assistant into the Situation Hub. That, for example, does not happen in the virtual assistant. If we get into the virtual assistant and we get figures, we'll see very specifically where those figures come from. So yeah, I would say there are two solutions here. If tomorrow you want to check on this, I would suggest, yeah, you move to virtual assistant. You ask that same question and you check where that would come from. However, we're working so that interaction with the text and basically the question you made, Patty, is just the very is very much the reason we want that feature that we mentioned here before. That is the report interaction. When we talk about report interaction, is exactly what you're doing here. You are saying, hey, okay, I like your report, I cannot trust you, but I have to report this to someone that does not like AI at all. So you need to tell me where that data comes from. So that's why we are working on the report interaction. So right now, you do need to check with Gannet Virtual Assistant. Soon, we hope to offer that specifically in the Situation Hub. So yeah, I guess we'll need to catch up soon and show you how we've improved on that. Could you please share a few effective prompts you use for virtual assistant that we could adapt for your use? Yes, if you want, Jessica. You can contact us if you want any other time. And if you're interested, that's something we plan to do sometime back. Was to show and display some examples of good prompting, for instance, for partners. I do have here the one that I use for this, but yeah, definitely, because we're gonna leave our details later and we will be in contact with you. We can share some of those, and we can even workshop a bit around that and show you. But definitely we can help. Also, that's also part of the work that we do as DFS, that our analysis team not only contributes to the creation of these tools or provides analysis solutions, but we do also capacity building on the use of these tools. Anyway, for sure, we're gonna share with you those prompts for free, but just so you know that it's something we do, and we'll be sharing soon in socials. Yeah, best practices on prompting. Okay, question by Ramon is it's not the first time we get this question. So Nicolo, do you want to reply more technically on Gannet's knowledge database, and what is the short medium scenario for this?
Again, this is exactly one of the next step in our roadmap for both main, of course, Gannet, but then the SituationHub as well, for giving the possibility to upload, giving the user the possibility to upload, or at least create, let's say, a private index of not public reports or information. This is something that it will be available in Gannet in the medium term, and as well in the SituationHub. So exactly as Pepe said, it's not the first time that we received this question, and we already started working on that. So thanks.
Yeah, and also just to complement what Nico said, we need to understand also, if what we're talking here is about a large scale solution, maybe that solution is not going to be called Situation Hub, and that's something for sure that we can discuss and negotiate as an organization. When we talk about, yeah, like actually implementing that private, for example, data sets, it's like if we think about Situation Hub, but for sure, if you tell me, hey, I am working on a very, like sensitive a sector, and we do have the capacity to fund this and create our own solution. What are the conditions, or what? And the conversation is different from this. So yes, it's something we're working on as a public good for Situation Hub, and it's something definitely we can discuss out of this conversation for specific organizations that might be interested. That's why I said before to have the like open mind in here, and if you somehow see the potential on any of the things we're currently doing, please do contact us, because again, this just was born out of a few, like a ideas and for a very specific purpose. But if we see a bit across or beyond the current status of the platform, we have endless possibilities for as many organizations as we can imagine. So please do not hesitate to contact us if you any and even if it's just to brainstorm around potential solutions for your organizations. I don't know if there are any other questions. Just for everyone, because of the high turnover today. Well, we'll make the presentation public in our socials. But anyway, we will soon do another demo in case you have people that you'd like to see. And again, we are always available for one-to-one or specific demos or presentations for your teams. So in case you have curiosity, or you want to share this again, or you don't feel confident enough to share the presentation if we are not there, please contact us, and we'll happily do this for you again. This being said, if no further questions, I think we're gonna call it demo. And well, thank you everyone for the interest. I'm quite excited that it was somehow interesting to you. Again, it's a very early stage of this Situation Hub. We do believe it has a huge potential, and yeah, we'll keep you posted with our updates. So yeah, I hope next time we do the demo, we can give you some news and enhancements on the platform. I'm sure we will. So thank you everyone, thank you colleagues, and have a nice day.
Everyone.